This is Brian from the soon-to-be champion Skybusters, and you are listening to Josh and Gar on the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix on Spotify.
Thank you so much, Brian. Hello, everybody. It is August 24th, 2021. It is a sharp 5 p.m. The sun is shining. We're excited to bring you podcast number 76 with our 272 game predictions, NFC edition. But before we do that, we got to give Walters the opportunity to take us into it. And so, Walters, how we doing, pal? How we feeling?
Welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix with your lovely hostesses, Garlic Johnson.
We're going to need to take a break here while I change my pants.
And Josh Mitchell.
Sitting here undefeated in everything I do, except fantasy football. No, I'm not allowed to handle crayons.
Not after last time.
Not after last time.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Garlic and Josh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I'm one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson, and we are joined, as always, by our other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, go ahead and say hi to the folks.
Hi, folks. Sorry if Kaya said hi before me.
We did not hear any Kaya just yet, but I'm sure that treat will make its way into the audio before too long. Hidden Oaks Overdose at gmail.com, anchor.fm/hoodpod, and our brand new Discord community are the ways you can interact with all of us. Obviously, if you're here listening right now, like Brian, Jeremy, and Hammer, you know all about the Discord, and if you don't, ask me about it or ask Josh about it later. You can also find some pretty cool stuff at hiddenoaksoverdose.com. Jeez, it's almost like I've never read that a million times. Our segment start times will be down in the description below if you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever else. And we got to thank Levi Oki. Though you can't see all his beautiful art right now, he's been doing a lot for us over the years, so you got to appreciate Levi Oki. Josh, how we doing today, pal?
Doing. How are you, Gar?
I'm doing good. Do you want to elaborate at all?
I think I said all I needed to say about how I'm doing.
You're a very deep, stoic fellow, Josh, and I appreciate that about you. I'm doing pretty good. Honestly, I'm excited that everything appears to be working right now, and if it's not working, at least our three lovely listeners are not letting us know, so I feel good about myself that things are going smooth. But no, I mean, I'm happy that the sun's shining a little bit outside, and I think I'm going to go see Free Guy in theaters on Friday, because I'm heading back to the cities on Friday, so I think I'm going to go check out Showplace for a movie. And yeah, I'm just excited about life, pal. What about, you got any plans for the rest of the week?
Nope. With my commute doubling, it's going to be mostly just going to work and then going home from work.
To be clear to the people that don't know, which is probably all three people listening right now, your commute went from your guest bedroom to your living room. So an extra 15 feet.
Double.
All right, we can keep her flying, Josh. How about we hop right into the FanTASTY zone here so we're not wasting anybody's lovely time. The FanTASTY zone is brought to us by Skybusters. I feel like I've asked Brian, but I never got an answer. Does he want to be just brought to you by Skybusters or brought to you by the Skybusters? Brian, you'll have to let us know whether you want the there or just plain Skybusters. Let us know. Josh, do you have any extra sponsors for the FanTASTY zone today?
Some delicious sink water from Derek's bathroom sink.
His family has not owned that house in a long time. Did you break in?
So that's why those people looked at me funny.
Yeah, they were, I got to imagine you were not a wanted guest in that home.
Probably not. Jim had some good cookies.
You gave them some good cookies, or that's your second sponsor are some good cookies?
No, that's what I took from their house.
Gotcha. Well, I've got a nice, beautiful Southern Style Arnold Palmer, just like last week. Oh, that was a good one. I could see it on the audio. And then I've also got some peanut M&Ms that no one can see anymore because we're not in video, but you can hear me shaking them around. Some lovely peanut M&Ms. Josh, we had a little bit of fan interaction coming in from last week, and they came in the form of YouTube comments. First of all, Jack Vickers would like to let us know that our Pokemon evolution was fire. Thank you, Jack. I felt pretty good about it myself. And then he also says, Also, Josh losing the mountain man hair, looking fresher than the old chips sitting in my cupboard. Josh, how do you respond?
Well, I guess I don't know. I could look as fresh as the old chips in his cupboard, but it's still better than the baby diaper he looks like.
Oh, I don't know if Jack deserved all that, pal. Ugh.
I'm sorry, Jack.
We've also got some memes to check out, Josh. We didn't get to check out any memes last week, but now people who are listening live, I'm pretty sure they can navigate out of the channel while keep listening, and they can go to the meme channel and follow along if they want. So, I mean, we're trying to gamification this just a little bit, and we can, it's called Meme of the Week, so, I mean, we're trying to pick our favorite meme. We got Eric's one about Michael Thomas. We got mine about Packers fans and ignoring Aaron Rodgers. We got your Tom Brady one that he looks absolutely coked out of his mind. Where'd you find this? Did you make it yourself? I
believe Read It is where I found it.
Gotcha. We've also got the career interceptions one, talking about Jamal Adams becoming the the highest paid safety in NFL history, when you got Vince Wilfork and JPP with not all his fingers having more career interceptions. Does that think that's a cherry picked stat? Do you think Jamal Adams is still a pretty good safety or no?
Yeah, it's pretty cherry picked.
All right, Josh, I don't want to sit here and just talk forever. You really like this next meme. That's the I posted it with I like Packers and I prefer Vikings. What you seem to enjoy. What'd you enjoy about it and why?
You posted that? Didn't I share that in a group?
Maybe.
I don't know. I like it because it's 100% accurate. We still respect each other, but and then typical Vikings fan, don't respect the Packers, don't respect anybody except for anti-jab cousins.
Anti-jab cousins. And then we got the meme I just posted. I think it was just yesterday, 2 days ago. So it was the Vikings. They brought in that renowned ophthalmologist, or however the fuck you pronounce that. And then it's just a picture of Kirk Cousins with his hands over his ears, because he's obviously trying to hear a play, but he's like, la, 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 I can't hear you. Fucking hilarious. And this would be better visually, but describing memes is not nearly as funny. But Josh, which one's your favorite meme? We had to get through all the backlog, and next year we'll just start fresh, the memes of that week. But if you had to pick one meme in this lineup we've got here in this backlog, which meme is your favorite?
That Packers and Vikings one made me chuckle the most, I think.
I like the Packers, and I prefer Vikings, but we still respect each. Get that dirty bullshit out of my face. We can go ahead and call that the meme of the week. I appreciate it. I will say that my meme, my other meme, got 2 laughing crying faces, so maybe in the weeks coming up we should say that's how you vote for your favorite meme, is by reacting with emojis or with reactions, and then the meme with the most emojis is the meme of the week. Does that sound good, or do you think we should pick? Because these people are heathens and they don't know true culture.
That works for me.
Alrighty. Well, that's a pretty quick FanTASTY zone. I believe in another week or two here, Brian will be... Oh, no, we did get an email from Brian. Josh, I'm going to need you to stall. Just go ahead and sing a little ditty while I pull up the email from Brian. I'm pretty sure it's only 2 words, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, I can do that. That's why we have preseason. I mean, right now, this is why, Green Bay is 0-2 right now in the preseason. But, they'll go 13-3 in the regular season, as is tradition. So we're just going to wait here as Garlic goes to find out that email that I'm pretty sure just said, look at the bright side. All you can do is go up from here.
Yeah, basically.
I'm pretty sure we're staying even. So,
no,
Brian, you lied to us.
We had 18 minutes of downtime last time. This is significantly better than that so far. But I do have it pulled up. Brian did send us an email last Tuesday after the show. He said, subject line, AFC game by game. First line is just all caps, so he's yelling at us. BRUTAL. Brutal. Well, guys, look at it this way. Nowhere to go but up. Love the Grum. Brian.
So did he spell it out like B space or B dash?
Yes, correct. He had hyphens in there.
Okay. So maybe he is actually just auditioning for the Hidden Oaks Overdose cheerleader position posted on Indeed.com.
Give me a B. Give me an R. Do you think, that's going to be... We've got a lot of applicants for that so far. Do you think Brian can actually break through, or...
Well, so far he's the only one that could spell brutal correctly. So yeah.
That's tough.
Walters' submission was give me a B, give me an R, give me an O, and then it was just 15 minutes rambling about the meta in Warzone.
That sounds par for the course. All right, well, that'll pretty much wrap up the FanTASTY Zone brought to us by Skybusters. Normally, or I was hoping to have some other senior correspondence stuff from last week or this week that we could have worked in here in the next segment. I think all our senior correspondents are dead. Not a single one has sent us a voicemail since the spring. So you win some, you lose some, folks.
The last time we heard from Carmel, he was in Jim Irsay's dungeon. So
he still could be locked in that sex dungeon.
Yes, it's very likely.
All right, Josh. Well, then let's go ahead. Let's move on here right to the meat and potatoes of the show today. We are talking about all of the NFC teams. We've predicted every single game they will play this year. And, do you have any thoughts you want to share before we dive right in and just give all our thoughts on all the NFC teams? How'd you approach this?
Well, we didn't have as many within 3 games of each other as far as the differences in wins and losses. But we definitely had more like zeros. I think we had one where we agreed 100% on the overall wins and losses. And then with this one, we agreed on 4 teams. So quite a significant leap there. But then we also had more teams with 4 or 5 differences. Just some noticing things I noticed.
All right. Well, I know in the past we've kind of gone every other versus split them up, so it doesn't really matter who goes first or second because we'll both talk about the Vikings and the Packers as this goes. And it looks like if we did skip it, one person would get both. So I'll go ahead and I'll have you start again this week, and I'll have the timer up to my mic again. And hopefully you can hear it because you can't see it this week. And we've got 3, 2.
So wait, I'm going first?
1. Yep. Go Arizona, baby.
So Arizona, I had going 8-9, which is good enough for the Joshy Wishy-Washy power rank of 17 to 20th. Not too confident in their run game at this time. James Conner is kind of a bum, but the defense added JJ just happens to be 6 years too late, apparently. Gar, what do you have for Arizona?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Arizona this year, actually. I liked them last year, too, and they definitely had some splashes. I mean, I don't think anyone will forget that bomb to Hopkins in the back of the end zone as Kyler Murray was basically running out of bounds. It was a pretty significant play. So we know they're capable of splashy moments. I have them going 12-5 this year. That's good for power ranked between 4 and 9 on my list. And like I said last week, that's kind of a big range, but they're definitely a contending team. Not the top of the league, but they will be in the playoffs and should win at least a playoff game, I reckon. They added some stubs, like I mentioned. They've got J.J. Watt. They helped bring in A.J. Green as well. So I think they'll just be airing it out and balling and calling, baby. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons. I have them going 8-9 this year. I'm not nearly as high on them, but I think similar to the Vikings, they're a team that will win too much to get in a good draft pick. So they'll really, really disappoint all the true fans. I have them power ranked between 18 and 19, so just a little slightly below average. I think Matty Ice will carry them, though, just to that mid-level of mediocrity and not be at the bottom of the league. Kyle Pitts is cool, but Julio's gone, and they've got no running backs. Josh, what do you think about the Falcons?
I'm not as high on them as you are. I have them going 3-14, which is a Joshy Wishy-Washy power rank of 28 to 30. And I just want to point out that 28 to 3 is their cursed number. So obviously 28 to rank 30, take off that 0, 28-3. Falcons are cursed, 3-14. Beep. Beep.
You still got... Here it comes. All right.
All right, moving on to Carolina, another team that I'm not too high on. They have CMC, who's going to, if he stays healthy, manage to carry them to 6 wins. I have them going 6-11, good enough for the 22nd to 23rd ranking on the Joshy Wishy-Washy power rank scale. My only reason for them to lose 7 games would be that that guy that they traded for named Samuel Darnold. He's going to be saying a lot of his last name minus the old part on there as he continues to see ghosts on the field. Gar, how's Carolina doing for you?
I have them doing even slightly worse. I guess I don't know if I was thinking CMC would get hurt again or if this team just can't put it together, but I have them going 4-13, which is good enough for power rank 29, so almost at the very bottom. I think this team is still soul searching. I like Matt Rule. Obviously Darnold's not their long-term future. CMC probably won't be there by the time they have a franchise quarterback, so I think this team has a couple more years of trying to figure it out. Moving on to Bears, Chicago. I have them going 5-12 this year. That's good enough for a power rank in my scale of 25 to 28. So, down there or up there in the nosebleeds, down there in the pits of hell, however you want to think about it. I think either QB will struggle. Obviously, Justin Fields is the more exciting long-term prospect, but if he's baptized by fire, he's going to struggle. Andy Dalton's never been known for being elite. So, and I think Khalil Mack will give up 4 weeks in. I have them winning a couple improbable games against good teams and then losing a lot. Josh, what do you think?
I have them going 8-9 just because I like them to sit in the middle of mediocrity and be a terrible team forever. It's a good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy rank of 17 to 20. I said that the hype for Fields is so high that when his fall happens, it will be masterful. I'm excited to watch it happen, despite not necessarily cheering for him to get hurt, but he's a Bear. That preseason game where his head was taken off kind of makes them think they should have taken an O-lineman. Moving on to Dallas. I have another team going 8-9. That's a third out of 6 so far. Good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy rank of 17 to 20. Good news, folks. That's the last one of 17 to 20. Reason for this, Big Mike and Dak have shown that they don't have much chemistry. COVID doesn't help, and then Dak getting hurt definitely doesn't help, but they go together kind of like Kelvin Benjamin and salads. Gar, how do you have Dallas going?
You don't got to do salads like that, pal. I have Dallas, unfortunately, going 8-9. That's good enough for my other team in the 18 to 19 power rank, just with Atlanta. Big Mike, a.k.a. Mike McCarthy, he ain't it. His Denny's menu of a play call sheet ain't going to get him where they want to go long term. Hopefully the offense will be exciting at least, though, so I'm hoping Dak can really air it out. I think Zeke should be better. Anyone who's paying attention to Hard Knocks knows the hype train is real. I just don't think the defense will keep them in games. I think it'll be a lot of offense, a lot of excitement, but at the end of the day, not enough wins. Moving on to the Detroit Lions, I got them going 5-12 this year. That's another one of the teams in my 25 to 28 range in my power rankings. I think MCDC, aka Motor City Dan Campbell, is not to be fucked with in the future. I really like this guy's attitude. If you ever watch one of his press conferences, this guy will light a fire inside of you that you don't even know you had. But Jared Goff's your QB. The guy's just taken over the organization. He wants you to give him a couple years, I think. Josh, what do you think about the Detroit Lions this year?
I also had them going 5-12, good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy rank of 24 to 26. This is where you cue the AC/DC Back in Black track, because I had MCDC Back on Track tour coming in 2022 after they managed to get some chemistry under their belt with the preseason and whatnot. I like their running game. I think that their passing game with Hawkinson is going to be just fine. Jared Goff seems to be able to throw the ball when he has time, so hopefully that works. Moving on to Green Bay. Nope, too late. Moving on to Green Bay, I have them going 12-5. Good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy power rank of 8 to 9. Not at all homerism. Gar, what do you think?
You're giving me 45 seconds here. I'll circle back to you at the end. I have Green Bay going 12-5 this year. They're one of those 4-9 teams. So not the elite of the elite, but they're definitely going to be in the playoffs this year. I think we all know it unless Rodgers gets hurt. They're a top-end team, just not the cream of the crop. I think the offense will be good. Devontae, Aaron Jones, and Aaron Rodgers are a potent trio. The defense should be not garbage, but at the end of the day, they just can't put it all together. And so I can see another heartbreaking playoff loss, Josh. You still got about another 13 seconds if you want to say anything else.
I'd rather not, but I guess we'll have to see after this year if they could break that NFC Championship game curse and take it all the way with love. Moving on to your turn.
We got the Los Angeles Rams next, Josh. I got them going 11-6, so that's good enough for the power rank of 10-12. Fringe playoff team, but they should make one of the wild card spots, especially now that there's 7 playoff teams from a conference. I'm excited for Stafford with McVay. They just need consistency. That was one of Goff's biggest things, the guy was just not consistent. McVay, I think he's pretty good. I still think like a... what's the 49ers coach name? McMahon or not McMahon?
Shanahan.
Shanahan, I think Shanahan's a little bit better than Mike McVay. Jesus Christ, Josh, I'm really struggling here. Then Sean McVay, and now you only have 15 seconds to talk, so you can tell me what you think about the Rams.
I had them going 13-4, a little bit better than you. Joshy wishy-washy rank of 5-7. I think that Stafford is grossly underrated and that they have a solid core of players around him on offense. They have some guy named Aaron Donald who stopped a robbery or whatever this past offseason, so good for him. Moving on to Minnesota Vikings goal. I have them going 9-8. Good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy rank of 14-16. I mean, it's just enough wins to extend Kirk another 9 years for $600 million. And it's just enough losses to make me cackle like an evil witch in Snow White. Gar, tell me about your home team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even as high on the Vikes this year as you are. I have them going 7-10. They're one of my two teams power ranked between 20 and 21, so below average. I'd much rather we tank than this reality, though. But this is going to be our reality. We're a 7-10 team. This is supposed to be the year where we bounce back. Mike Zimmer's a yo-yo coach. He's an every other coach. He's much better at motivating and coaching when we're underdogs. But with all the COVID stuff going on and this and that, and so many players just not wanting to, get involved or get vaxxed and do their part, I just think, there's a big thunderstorm cloud over the season, Josh, and it's not going to be good. Moving on to the New Orleans Saints. This is my other 7-10 team. A little cool or a little interesting that they're back-to-back. So that's the other team in the 20 to 21 power rank range. Average team, average results. Drew Brees is gone. They had so many cap issues that they had to literally cut like half of their players that are worth anything. I think this team will be much better with Jameis under the helm. Both Michael Thomas seemingly playing chicken with the organization, and so many other question marks. I don't see them doing anything significant this year. Josh?
I have them going 9-8. Kind of, same as the Vikings. Good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy power rank of 14-16. Those salary cap casualties are definitely going to show, I feel, with all those cuts. Michael Thomas is a stooge. He's fallen off the face of the earth, and then he doesn't have slanty McSlant thrower tossing him the rock anymore. Instead, it's going to be either Taysom Hill stealing Kamara's touchdowns or Jameis Winston throwing it to the crowd. Moving on to the New York Giants, have them going 2-15. Good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy power rank of 31. I just think that Joe Judge is coming from the Belichick coaching tree, and he's too cranky and needs to be humbled by those Daniel Jones fumbles. Gar, tell me about the Giants.
I think their future's bright. This year ain't going to be it, though. I do like Joe Judge, but I got him going 6-11 this year, so that's 22-24 in my, how my power rankings fell out. I think Barkley can carry this team to a handful of wins. I think Danny Dimes is just average enough to also not cost them a couple games. He's probably in the same tier or the same category as Kirk, just on the lower end of the same tier or category, however you want to talk about it. So I don't think he'll lose you a couple games, but he'll definitely keep you in a couple. He's just good enough to do that. So 6-11 this year, but I think Joe Judge, if he can get another playmaker or two in there, he'll have an exciting team within the next 2 years.
Like Calvin Benjamin?
Well... moving on to Philadelphia, Josh. I have them also going 6-11. So that's another 22-24 team in my power rankings. I'll believe it when I see it with Hurts on this team. I mean, obviously the organization understands that there's better QB talents out there. It's not that they won't be happy with Hurts under the helm, but their name is constantly attached to Houston and trying to trade for Deshaun Watson. So, it's clear that they would like the opportunity to improve the QB position if they could. So I just don't think this team is going to be much this year. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I had Philadelphia going 5-12. Good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy power rank of 24-26. I agree with you on the Hurts thing. I think that their team's kind of, it was held together at the seams when they won the Super Bowl, and over the past few years, you've seen it kind of deteriorate. And as a result, the light posts in Philadelphia have never been less slippery. Moving on to Seattle, I have them going 9-8, good enough for the Joshy wishy-washy power rank of 14-16. Hi, Odin. I think that DK and Russell are going to do just fine this year, but that O-line I don't think has improved since the days of the Reagan era, and their defense is potential to falter as well. Gar, tell me about Seattle.
I mean, I'm higher on Seattle than you. I have them going 12-5. I think they've constantly been a contender. They've constantly been in that conversation. So that's another one of the 4 through 9 teams in my power ranking. So good enough to make the playoffs, not good enough to be the best of the best. I think they're a great team with a good offense. Russell Wilson has proven time and time again he can extend plays. He can make he can make great situations out of situations that should have blown up in his face. So the guy can really create out there. He was almost a bit of a Bob Ross, I think, on the field. Just little happy accidents every once in a while that end up to being great plays. So I think they'll do great this year. Moving on to San Fran, another NFC West team. I also have them going 12-5. Like I was talking about earlier, even though I couldn't think of his name, I think Mike Shanahan's a great coach. This team is good enough to get in that power ranking of 4 to 9 in my scale. Not the top, but in the playoffs for sure. If Jimmy can make it at least 8 games healthy to start, they're going to the playoffs, maybe the Super Bowl. People forget Jimmy Graham got this team to the Super Bowl, or not Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Garoppolo got this team to the Super Bowl, and Trey Lance appears to be the real deal, waiting in the wings. So I think this team's going high and will be high for a long time. Josh, your thoughts?
I disagree with nearly everything you said. I have them going 7-10, good enough for the Joshy Wishy Washy power rank of 21. I don't have any faith in Jimmy G. He may have been on a Super Bowl team, but he definitely was not a big contributor. I feel like their run game had a lot to do with it. I feel like their defense had the most to do with it, and that coach is gone. Their defense is different, and so I just don't think they can repeat or do well. Moving on to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have them going 14-3. Good enough for the Joshy Wishy Washy power rank of 3 to 4, and I don't like it either, America. I don't want to have them as that high on the rankings, but they did bring everybody back, and they did just win the Super Bowl. So yes, let's just say 14-3. Gar, what do you say?
I have them going 14-3 as well. That's good enough for my power rank 1 to 2. I believe it's them and KC are the 1 and 2. The only thing that I think will stop this team is the big egos inside. Obviously, there's Brady, there's Gronk, there's Bruce Arians, there's Antonio Brown. They proved they could put aside their differences to get it done last year. I think they can this year. That's why I have them going 14-3. There's going to be the number 1 seed coming out of the NFC, and they're going to make a deep playoff run. So I think they're their own worst enemies themselves. But I think this team's really going to do it this year and repeat. Moving on lastly to the Washington football team, a team I am very excited about this year. I have them going 11-6. Yes, you heard that right, 11-6. That's good enough for my power rank of 10 to 12. So a fringe wild card team, but they should be able to make it now that 14 teams total make it. I think this team will surprise a lot of people. They will easily take the East. I mean, when their competition is Dallas, Philly, what's the other one? The Giants. Yeah, these guys are easily going to take the East. Josh, how do you feel about Washington football team?
I mean, I don't think that it's going to be an easy take the East, but I do have them going 10-7. Good enough for the Joshy Wishy Washy power rank of 13. They have a cakewalk to the playoffs in that division unless Dak plays lights out. I believe Dallas was killing it last year when Dak was healthy. So it's one of those things. If he can come back to that kind of MVP status, I feel like that's going to be the team that provides some sort of resistance to the cakewalk. But I do like the Washington football team with Fitzmagic. The beard is back. Terry Scary and Antonio Gibb. So yeah, I do like Washington this year as well. So every week that they play, put money on them and give me your winnings.
Geez, Josh, I don't want to say that you really just abused the end of the timer there, but we normally take 30 seconds a team. You easily took a minute and a half there just for the Washington football team. So, I mean, just watch yourself, pal.
No,
we got rules
didn't.
here. It was at least a minute. We got rules here, pal.
Yeah, well, at least I didn't have 3 of the 4 teams going 12-5 in the NFC West.
The NFC West is a good division.
They're trash.
You're trash.
When was the last time any of those teams won a Super Bowl?
I don't know. I mean, they've both been in the Super Bowl. I can think of a Rams and a San Francisco Super Bowl within the past 5 years. They haven't won, I don't think, either time, but they've been there.
Trash.
When was the last time the Packers won the Super Bowl? Over 10 years ago? Embarrassing.
Yesterday.
All right, so that's all. That's all 16 teams of the NFC. I can still see we got 13 loyal listeners, and it's not very likely you guys were taking notes. But if you happen to remember any thoughts you had, you're welcome to try and use that request to speak feature. If you want to just chime in real quick about anything we said about any of the teams, we'll get to you in a sec. First off, Josh, though, in case they don't want to talk, or in case we just keep moving. How'd we do? Comparing our NFC predictions, which teams were the most similar and which teams were the most different?
Well, you see here, teams that we had in common. We had 4 teams that were right on par, and that was Detroit, Dallas, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. Teams that we disagreed on the most, Atlanta and San Fran, 5 games separated us. You have more faith in both those teams than I do. We also had 2 teams, New York and Arizona, that were 4 games apart. Once again, you had more faith in those 2 teams than I did. And then Seattle and Chicago were 3 games apart. I had more faith in Chicago than you. You had more faith in Seattle than me. Otherwise, it was 2 games and under.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, we keep it pretty close, I think.
Yeah, and as far as like predictions go with the professionals in Sports Illustrated, Detroit and Dallas, we were pretty much locked on with them. They have Green Bay going 9-7 or 9.5.
What absolute idiots, am I right?
Right. And then they had Tampa going 11-6, Philly going 7-10, so kind of on par with us there. Washington, they were a little, 8-9. Carolina, they had 7-9. Vikings, they had 8-8, 8.5 and 8.5. Giggity.
We'll tie.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I mean, there was no big discrepancies as far as I could see running through it real quick. Other than New York, they had 5 more wins than what I gave them, but they're wrong, so it's all right.
Oh man, I think does Peter King still work for Sports Illustrated? He might take personal offense to that, Josh, if this ever gets back to him.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. It's probably going to be on his desk on Monday.
All right. Sorry, go ahead.
Isn't that the expression?
The Monday morning quarterback? It'll be on his desk on Monday? Sure. Yeah. Maybe I'm too young to get that reference or too uncultured, but so to run through, Josh, I'm opening up my individual page right now to see all my NFC playoff teams, and then all 14 of my playoff teams, and I'm going to talk about kind of how I think that'll go, so you can pull that up while I'm going through mine. So if it wasn't clear going through the 272 there, my 7 NFC playoff teams are the Tampa Bay in the 1 seed, winning the South. We have Arizona winning the West in my 272, and so they're the 2nd seed. Green Bay winning the North in the 3rd seed, and then the Washington football team in the 4th seed winning the NFC East. Josh did call it right. I did have 3 NFC West teams going 12-5, so that means they'll be making the playoffs. Seattle's in the 5th seed, San Fran's in the 6th seed, or no, I have all 4 NFC West teams in the playoffs, it looks like. So Seattle, San Fran, and the Rams round out my playoff picture for the NFC, Josh. What about you? Who are your NFC playoff teams?
I had Tampa Bay, the Rams, in respective orders. Tampa Bay is the 1st seed in the NFC. Then I have the Rams in the 2nd, Green Bay in the 3rd, the Washington football team in the 4th, then Minnesota in the 5th, New Orleans in the 6th, and Seattle in the 7th.
All right, and then so quick run through your AFC teams again, and then who do you think will ultimately be the Super Bowl matchup and winner?
So I had Buffalo, Tennessee, Kansas City, Cleveland, the Chargers, Indianapolis, and Baltimore. And my Super Bowl matchups are Kansas City versus Minnesota, where Kansas City takes the crown, and I take all your tears.
Oh, man. So, real quick, my AFC playoff teams were Kansas City, Buffalo, Cleveland, Tennessee, the Chargers, so Los Angeles Chargers, New England, and Las Vegas. So, last year, let me point out, because I don't think the folks respected it enough last year, okay? In the 256 last year, I predicted the Super Bowl champion before a single down was played, before a single snap was snapped, okay? I called last year the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to win the Super Bowl last year, okay? Not enough people respected, not enough people gave you enough credit. I predicted that before the season started, okay? This year, I have a Super Bowl rematch, how unoriginal, but I've got KC taking it. So it's going to be KC Tampa Bay in the bowl, and I got KC taking her this time. What are the odds I'm right again, Josh?
0.
That's not very
21.
nice. That hurts my feeling.
I'm sorry. At least you have one. Yeah.
All right.
I think I did this. I did it for the memes with Minnesota being the runner-up there. I think I did it last year too with Buffalo and Minnesota. So
I mean, I'll be honest. I did Tampa Bay for the memes last year, but I was right. So now I've got all the pressure of trying to be right again, and I'm just going to absolutely fail. But at least I was passionate in a second.
Watch them go 3-14. Wouldn't that just be the? I mean,
it's possible.
I would feel bad for Brady and all that, but at the same time, I would just laugh all the way to town, whatever the fifth little piggy did, because I just think with how everybody's hyping them up, just 3-14, no injuries, nothing, just 3-14.
Tough, dude. It's not impossible. People get figured out and people get exposed.
And then they draft the Brady replacement who takes them to the Super Bowl 16 years in a row.
Right. All right, Josh, so we've predicted 272 games. We did AFC last week. We did NFC this week. We just told everyone our playoff teams and our Super Bowl matchups and winners. Do you have any other thoughts on the 272 before we move on for the season?
No, I just think that we should I don't like 272. I think we should just go back to 256 and skip week 18.
Why? Those are supposed to be the quote-unquote showcase games. Another inter-conference matchup of teams you don't play very often.
I guess. Is that why Dallas is playing Philadelphia week 18?
I mean, I don't know. That's supposed to be what the extra week was, but yeah, I don't know. I think our showcase game was against the Chargers, but I don't know what week it actually landed on. So.
Okay. Yeah, definitely not week 18 because all of them are division games from what I can see.
Yeah, that's classic NFL stuff. All right, Josh, let's move on then. The 272 is done for this year, and we will revisit how we did at the end of the year, potentially in the middle of the year if Josh feels up to the effort, because I'm not going to check mid-year. All right, Josh, let's move on here to the Wired Team Sucks segment. I did one last week, just improv and probably not as good. You're creative and you're funnier than I am generally, but you also had time to think about it, so you could have overthought it and been less funny in the end. Are you excited about the Wired Team Sucks segment that you put together for today?
No, but I'm going to try. I'm kind of distracted. Nikita made dinner. It smells amazing, and it's right behind me since my office had to move. Therefore, my podcast studio had to move. So I'm going to try and get through this without swearing and making sure that
we can fucking swear here.
Well, no. We're a semi-clean show. I do this in respect to Brian, and so I'm going to keep the potty out my mouth.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So why your team stinks? My team is Green Bay Packers. Our 2020 record was 13-3 again. Lost in the NFC Championship game again. Our coach, Matthew Patrick LaFleur. Overall winning record 26-6. The best win percent of all current head coaches. Every single one, including Billy B. And yet he's destined to lose in embarrassing fashion in that NFC Championship game, as is tradition. So on 2 appearances there in 2 seasons. Analytics had told him to take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands in the playoffs. Fanalytics told him to go for it, but our QB was Nathan Peterman, who has a 10% interception rate. Obviously, Patrick, a.k.a. Mr. LaFleur, would give Peterman the ball and watch as a pick six gave the opponent another TD that analytics had predicted. While he has success at this time, he's destined to be 13-3 and losing the NFC Championship game as long as he's in Green Bay. Your quarterback, Aaron Randy Rodgers, 2020 MVP and fan favorite following a successful rebirth in LaFleur's system, decided to give Green Bay a reason to panic when reports came out he wanted out of Green Bay. The whole offseason was a swirl of will he come back and how's he going to look in Denver. Does he comment on any of this as Green Bay residents mouth breathe their excuses to the EMT as they treat their 6 heart attacks since the famous Bostic onside kick? Nah. He ain't gonna leave us. He loves Green Bay, is likely the common phrase in the lone tourist attraction outside of Lambeau Field. Visitors who hear this probably say, "Nobody asked you, Bo. I just ordered some mozzarella sticks and a burger." Obviously, this would upset a Green Bay local. I'm just sure they'd ignore the customer and say, "Rodgers loves mott sticks," as a single tear dripped down their eye. At this point, the visitor probably regrets not getting the week-old gas station hot dog and starts writing his 2-week notice to his boss that sent him to Green Bay. Upon leaving, they'd leave a note letting poor old Bo know that Rodgers cut cheese from his diet, and thus begins the hiring process of a new Applebee's waiter, as Bo's heart just couldn't take it. Let's not forget that Rodgers was also in Hawaii for a stint, where his pal Miles Teller took a right hook to the dome for not paying a wedding vendor. His association with Teller goes along with the greasy hair, along with that greasy hair he's growing, only solidifies his transformation into Cyrus from the Trailer Park Boys.
Safety,
what's new that
always
stinks? What is new that stinks? Joe Barry, a.k.a. the defensive coordinator and savior of this team. Joe Barry is entering Green Bay with a renewed energy after the Mike Pettin experiment fizzled out like one of the sparklers that used to give Dom capers in the booth. Barry is being looked at as a rejuvenating presence that brings energy to the defense. Barf. And that's just an offseason trope you hear every year. Barry wasn't even the first option for this defense. The first option was Badgers defensive coordinator and former safety in the NFL, Jim Leonhard. Leonhard turned down the job to remain in college as a coach because one can assume he's seen that Packers defense in the past decade and knows he'd be better off staying away. If that doesn't tell you what you need to know about the job, here comes Joe Barry, 50 years young and on his third stint as an NFL D coordinator. And let's just take a look at his track record to see what we're getting. Turns out this guy has a record-breaking defensive resume, believe it or not. In 2007 to 2009, he was with the Detroit Lions, where he ranked 32nd ranked defense in both years. He helped that team achieve the record-breaking, ever-elusive 0-16 record. In 2015 to 2017, 6 years after his first defensive coordinator job, he managed to find his way back with the Washington Redskins, where Barry once again set records by having a 35% first down rate on third downs with 10 yards or more to go. You heard me right, folks. We may have gotten rid of the crayon-eating capers and the guy who thought prevent defense at the end of a half was stupid, but now we get a combination of the two. No wonder all of our star players want to leave. What has always sucked? Being a fan, and the fans in general. You know your fan base sucks when the entirety of the subreddit NFL cheers against you. Deshaun Watson could be found guilty but returned in the Super Bowl with the corpse of Jeffrey Dahmer and Jared from Subway as his top two wide receivers, yet all of Reddit will side with them if it meant keeping Green Bay out of a Super Bowl. Being a fan is no better when you can all but expect to lose in incredible fashion during the NFC Championship game, whether it's a botched onside kick following a monumental collapse on defense, a defense giving up 31 points in the first half, while offense sits on its thumbs and scores 0 against the same team that will eventually blow a 28-3 lead in just over a quarter, or letting a running back run 220 yards and 4 touchdowns in a game when he had only had 770 yards and 8 touchdowns in the 16 games during the regular season. And finally, let's not forget that we let Tom Brady throw 4 interceptions only to trust Kevin King to cover someone, and instead he decides to be assertive, open the door, and let the guy have it. What might not suck? Nothing. It all sucks because we're not going to win the Super Bowl yet again. End scene.
Oh, Josh, that was passionate. There's no question about the passion that you just expressed. Do you think it's all going to suck, huh? So, I mean, we both admit that your team's going to have double-digit wins. We both admit your team's going to be in the playoffs. We both admit your team's probably going to have a good playoff run. And so still, though, that sucks, huh? Is that worse than going 8-9 like the Vikings probably will?
No, but you know the mountain climber game on The Price is Right?
Oh, for sure. Yodel-hee-hoo, yodel, yodel, yodel-hee.
Yep. That's exactly what the Green Bay Packers fandom is like. Start at the bottom, get a couple wins, you yodel your way on up, get a couple more, yodel on up, and then that peak is the Super Bowl. And fans and everybody else in that organization, they will think the NFC Championship game is going to be a cakewalk, and they'll just yodel right off the edge, surpassing the Super Bowl and ending up at the bottom at the beginning of next season.
Josh, I'm almost a little sad we have more show to go, like just a little outro after that, because that would have been a great way just to end the show right there. I think you did a really good job. I think you did really good.
Thank
Obviously, when you're reading something, it's just so easy to stumble, especially when you're reading too fast and you read a word wrong or this or that. But I think you did really, really good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. But that's the Why Your Team Sucks segment, Josh. My voice just cracked there a little bit, so that's good. Balls are finally dropping. someday. But yeah, Josh.
Just describing how Justin Jefferson's going to play this year.
Balls are finally dropping. That was a good one. That was a nice little zinger. All right, Josh. So next week's podcast is going to be the Hood Draft, the Hood Redraft League draft grades. It's a lot of drafts in there. Are we excited for the Hood Draft coming up on Saturday here?
Yeah, I'm expecting to be drafty at the draft. It's always drafty, it seems, when we draft. So
I have been checking out the weather. It's either going to be thunderstorms or at least like 10-mile-per-hour winds as the forecast currently reads it. So it looks like the windy tradition will stick up. We might even have to go on my dad's new screen and porch or just like go in the garage or something. So it might be our first inclement weather draft. How does that make you feel? Does that make it worse?
No, I've done 6,000 or 7,000 mock drafts since finding out my draft position, and I've won every single time.
Oh yeah, by what authority have you won? Like, did they send you a trophy or like a certificate or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Excellent. Well, good. Congratulations on winning your mock drafts, and hopefully you can win the league. So if anyone can think of any sexy ways for us to spice up the grade podcast, I know it can be a little mundane for the people outside the league. I mean, they can hear about the teams and what we think about players, so they can grab some little, nuggets there. But if anyone can think of a way for us to make that podcast sexier for the more general listeners, so you Isles out there, you Walters, you Eric's, that's what I was thinking of. Eric's, Jack, Caramel Bear, whoever. If you can think of a way for us to talk about, just our single draft more sexy, let us know.
I want Caramel Bear to review all our teams.
You think he?
But I want him to do it in dance art.
In dance art? Do you think Caramel Bear would do a nice long video for us?
Yes.
I don't think he would. As much as he likes us, I don't think he likes us that much. But yeah, so Brian, first of all, I've seen you've updated your Discord profile picture since we started the podcast, so good for you. Nice looking fish you got there. Hammer, I appreciate you too for sticking out the whole thing. Pribs, got to give you credit. Looks like you were in and out a couple times, probably going through life with kids, with a bunch of young little kids, but I appreciate you coming in too. This Discord thing was new. You guys that have listened live, you'll have to text us or put in the general chat how it sounded the whole time, because I don't know what kind of quality you guys are getting, because I can't hear what you're hearing. So let us know how everything went, pretty please. You can also engage the show at hiddenokesoverdose@gmail.com, anchor.fm/hoodpod, or the Discord server I keep referring to. Text me if you need a link. I think you can just search somewhere for a community, because we're visible to the public. But yeah.
Could probably put the link on hiddenokesoverdose.com.
That'd be a great idea.
So much traffic there.
Oh, and one more thing I just thought about. So mentioning Anchor. So today, you can, I don't think anyone will actually do this, but I set it up because just why not? You can actually subscribe to us now on Anchor. You can pay $5 a month for subscriber-only content. And so we didn't have any of that before. So I just put our 2 old podcasts ago, our Fave Far of all the fantasy plays we like this year, I put that as subscriber-only. But if we reach some sort of threshold, like maybe $5 subscribers, I was hoping I could put different levels in there, but they only let me set one price. But Josh and I will definitely, if we start getting paid, we'll put out subscriber-only content for whoever wants to pay. So that's an option. Not saying anyone has to do it. The best way of supporting us is just, listening, spreading the word, and, like Venmo or cash or whatever. But, yeah, that's an option. If anyone is feeling frugal, if anyone's got a fat-ass bank account, and they're happy to put on a $5 subscription they'll probably never pay attention to on the credit card bill. That's an option out there, folks.
Yep. Or, another way to show support is bench your best players against me in fantasy if you're in my league.
Yeah, me as well. So next week, like I said, we'll be back with the Hood draft grades for our League of Record. HiddenOaksOverdose.com is a place you can find out some great information on that League of Record. Josh, is there anything else we want to say? Or do we just want to get out of here in under 50 minutes?
Let's get out of here. I'm ready to go hang out with my wife.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening. Brian, now's the time you want to request to speak. I don't know if you hit that on accident, but I'll let you do it. Nope, he left. Brian hit it on accident. Still, though, that's funny. Hammer, you're a loyal listener. I appreciate you. I know maybe chatting in the Discord with a bunch of strangers all the time might not be your thing, but You know, I'm sure a message every once in a while, and just knowing when the show is live and knowing when you can put in your fave Favre or whatever this year. I figured you want to be in there, so I appreciate you clicking the link and getting in here, pal. Hope you have a lovely evening. I hope Garlene and Jamie have a lovely evening as well. We will see you all next Tuesday at 5 Central. Bye.